The education system is one of the agencies profoundly affected by a coronavirus. Around 1.2 billion students in 186 countries are out of schools during the pandemic. This COVID-19 changed the education landscape dramatically. Nations around the world attempt to open classes after a month of lockdown, but many failed due to increasing number of cases. Closure of some schools around the world has affected also more than 1.2 billion learners worldwide, with more than 28 million learners in the Philippines. Responses like community granular lockdown and community quarantine led students and teachers to study and work from home, leading to the delivery of online learning platforms. In the Philippines at present, there are 664,000 cases and still increasing, along with 578,000 recovered and 12,968 deaths.
With the upturn of the cases, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte of the Philippines concluded that no opening of classes during this pandemic, emphasizing the no vaccine, no opening of classes. However, DepEd Secretary Lenore Embroines planned out and adapting an alternative new normal learning approach like television-based online learning, blended learning, and modular distance learning. To realize such, schools division offices were required to pipe readiness survey along with the safety mechanisms in the opening of classes. Based on survey of DepEd Surigao City, results found out that blended learning with online and modular is the chosen learning modality among learners.
With the health crisis that most countries are facing today, innovation, resilience, and even compassion spring within the education sector. With the adoption of Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan or BELCP based on Department Order Number 12 Series of 2020, DepEd is doing innovative approaches in support to education and learning continuity from online to modular to homeschooling. In support to this, the Division of Surigao City showed its commitment to education to ensure that teaching and learning continues while safeguarding the health and safety of the parents, teachers, and other stakeholders.
This study was conducted to understand the response mechanism of school administrators to the COVID-19 railroad changes in basic education. Specifically, it attempted to determine the school readiness and implementation of the learning delivery modalities in the new normal education, with the hope to provide policy recommendations apt to context and learning environment in the time of pandemic. Using the focus group discussion, the 10 select school heads from both elementary and secondary from each district were interviewed. The conduct of it was approved by the school's division superintendent following strict health protocols. Informed consent was also given to the informants on their participation.
Using simple thematic analysis, two most important themes emerged from this study: response mechanisms on the school's readiness and implementation of the learning delivery modality in the time of COVID-19. In support to DepEd Caraga's revolution of solutions, findings revealed that health and safety topped the list among the priorities of the school heads. In an interview conducted by the researchers, common responses on safety and protection were the 100% provision of health and safety materials like alcohol, sanitizers, face shields, masks, personal protective equipment, COVID-19 policy signages, thermal guns, and others.
Relevant also to the pre-implementation of the learning delivery modality were the conducted activities like the orientation of the BELCP to the stakeholders, use of the learners enrollment and survey form or the LESF as basis for the learning modality, dissemination of it through different platforms like Facebook page, video, bandilio, radio announcement, drop-off boxes in Purok and other learning stations, creation of individual or group chat rooms for advisors, class management, and orientation to parents on the process flow, specifically on the distribution and retrieval of the self-learning modules or learning activity sheets.
Further,
as a sustained response mechanism of school administrators in the time of COVID-19, 100% of the schools in Deped Division of Surigao City observed hygienic practices, health protocols, and other precautionary measures, strict compliance to alternative work arrangement, delivery of essential services like printing and distribution of self-learning modules and learning activity sheets, upskilling and reskilling teachers through webinars, and partnership with stakeholders on the realization of the school's BELCP.
The results of the study prove that DepEd Circle City has responded to the call of the department to ensure safe operations and the continuity of learning during pandemic. Despite the limitation of the study, since it lacks the other factors like the post-implementation, still, this research showed the effectiveness of response mechanisms that the office has undertaken, like prioritizing the safety of the school personnel and clientele and the need to capacitate the school heads on the implementation of chosen learning modality in the context of the area or situation.
While there are still growing COVID 19 infections as of now, and with the recent available vaccine as reported, these studies showed challenges and issues while classes nationwide are conducted in different modalities. The researchers therefore recommend that this research be continued, as it hopes to find out the railroad changes in the basic education as COVID 19 continues to hamper the quality of learning that each child deserves. The challenge herewith is on how school administrators could provide and deliver quality education amidst exceptional times and at what extent of preparation for the next months to come. While other recommendations are found essential, this study further hopes to adopt the suggested localized policies of DepEd and Curiosity Division, as it would be helpful in the implementation of new policies and processes in the new normal, like ensuring access, capacitating stakeholders, and monitoring on the delivery of learning modality.